Hi, welcome back. I'm going to continue reading from my book, Wine, Sex, and Suicide, My Near-Death Divorce. It's available on Amazon. And I think I'm just going to have that written disclaimer somewhere in the description, but if you're sensitive to themes of depression, suicide, alcohol abuse, and promiscuity, this is not the reading for you. All right, so I'm going to continue. Tuesday, November 2nd. I still haven't done the 6 things on my list. Laundry, call the roofer, call the pool heater repair guy, get new tires, and apply for a credit card. But I did open my own checking account today. It was loud and so bright in the bank. The branch manager was overly friendly, making the whole experience less anonymous than I had wanted. "How are you today? Can we offer you some water as you talk with one of our associates?" He whisked me off to a new accounts manager. I slunk into the chair at Eliza's exposed desk. She worked quickly to open my account so I could make it to my therapy appointment on time. I transferred $100 from our joint account. Eliza paused from her rapid-fire typing and gave me a soft look. "In 30 years, I've seen a lot of things. I understand." She knew. Thankfully, I didn't have to tell her. An account in my own name, no wedding ring, slumped posture, unsure of what last name to use for the account, all served as clues to why I was there. Again, my mother's words from when I was 12 years old found their way into my thoughts. You have to take care of yourself. Don't ever trust a man to take care of you. Even though I had been the one who took care of the finances, paid the bills, and managed our investments, I felt helpless, like I'd never done any of this before. After therapy, I napped before heading to a friend's house for dinner. I picked up flowers and brought over a bottle of white wine. I'd met her through a mutual friend and immediately liked her quick wit and engaging personality. She's a successful writer, married to an overworked financial analyst. We made ourselves comfortable on her living room couch and quickly covered the topics of health, men, and writing. During dinner, my phone dinged from friends, those checking in to see how I was doing, and others inviting me to a happy hour. The next ding had me shaking. It was a text from Mark. "Oh my God, it's him," I blurted out. The text said he wanted to talk. Did I have time tonight? What do I say back? Consulting the professional writer. I was relying on her to come up with the appropriate response. "Do you want to go outside and talk to him now?" she asked, and added, "You can eat and run if you have to." "No," I said decidedly. "I have spent 17 years being available on his terms, and look where it got me." After much deliberating, I texted back, "I'm at a friend's house right now. What time were you thinking?" He texted back, "Let's talk tomorrow then. I'm exhausted. I'm going to bed soon." Another assumption, I'd be available on his timeline. That's what I'd always done. I rarely made plans unless they coincided with his plans. My priority was to always be available when he was. What a mistake that was. "I have plans tomorrow night." "Thursday night?" I typed back. Ding. "Sure. I miss you." It's the first time he's communicated anything like that. I wish he'd spoken those words instead of a quick text. I wish he'd been calling me and telling me how sorry he was and asking if there was any way I could forgive him. I wish he'd just come home. Wednesday, November 3rd. A stomachache woke me several times early this morning. I eventually got up, exhausted, unrested, unsettled, and sad. I'm just worn out. I managed to check my email and drink some water before the phone rang at 9:30. It was the woman from Mondo Challenge, the organization I've been communicating with about volunteering in Romania over Christmas. Today I made my decision. Yes, I want to give the deposit for the trip, I told her. No going back now. I'd come up with a lot of other possibilities for what Christmas might look like, and all of them were bleak. 1, slit wrists. 2, hang myself. 3, overdose. 4, go on a drunken, anonymous, sex-filled island vacation. 5, spend it with Mark's family, without him. 6, go on a personal retreat, spa trip. 7, join a friend on Cape Cod. 8, volunteer with a friend in New Orleans. 9, volunteer at a Romanian orphanage. It wasn't until after I hung up the phone with her and called the credit card company to check on using some of our 200,000 miles that I learned all award travel is currently booked to every city in Europe. Ticket purchases are upwards of $2,000. I can only hope the universe is going to pull through and make it happen if it's meant to happen. The agent said to keep calling in for award mileage. Something might open up. I managed to get a shower and drove to Santa Monica. My friend Seth was having a small fundraiser for his nonprofit, the Thirst Project, that funds water projects in third world nations. I mingled awkwardly and struck up conversations, but mostly just felt self-conscious about being alone. There was one guy who paid attention to me, but after I returned from the restroom, he was gone. Is my desperation so palpable that I scared him off? Since my husband left, I have had a strange primal urge of wanting, almost needing attention from men. I know it will be quite some time before I am healed enough to move forward with another person. Right now, this feels like a psychological need to get attention from the opposite sex. I suppose it's a temporary feel-good band-aid covering the wound of rejection. My therapist has her work cut out for her to heal me of this. So that's kind of an interesting statement. Maybe I'll stop right here because that's kind of interesting, right? That I say, it's my therapist's job to heal me of this. That's another very passive victim mentality statement where clearly I just felt so disconnected from any personal responsibility. And I know I didn't feel like I had the strength to do anything for myself, to lift myself up. And I think that, came from the bad couple of years when there was a lot of criticism and a lot of, gaslighting, basically. So he would tell me that, I should do certain things and say certain things, and then I would do and say those things, but then they weren't quite right, or I would try and hold his hand and he would just flick my hand away, and he would say that I was trying to control him. So it was just coming from his guilty conscience from the cheating, but I didn't know that. I mean, really, hindsight is so clear, like when you look back at all the things that change, but all those things, when you get into a toxic situation, it's not like it goes from, black to white all of a sudden. It's a slow, gradual process, and that's where you lose your perspective and you lose sight of what's happening, because you're just slowly letting something kind of chip away at you, making excuses, justifications, rationalizing things. And then, your self-esteem can start to slip. Mine definitely did. It's really fascinating to me now how I have a different YouTube channel that covers like my life in Panama. And I did a video on, the story of how I got to Panama, and it was just really fascinating to see the comments stating how brave I was, how courageous, how strong, because I didn't feel any of those things back at this time in my life. It took tremendous work, tremendous healing and growth and persistence to get to that point. And my hope is, if you're in some kind of dark night of the soul pain, that you can find your way day by day towards some kind of clue as to what you need to do to take another step forward in the healthy, right direction. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, and subscribe if you want to get updates.